Hello, good evening, good morning, whatever time you're deciding to listen.
Good afternoon.
Fine with us. I'm Travis.
I'm Jonathan.
And welcome to the 100 Ways to Love a Cat podcast.
Oh boy, it feels like a relief to be here on the podcast that eventually plays the song 100 Ways to Love a Cat. And it's great to be here with you, Travis.
It's always great to be with my best pal, Jonathan.
And you, whoever's
listening. I know maybe a few people we know listen. I don't know. I know a couple.
Shelley says she tunes in.
Shelley says she does. And Teresa.
Harmon.
That's three people that we know
Well,
of.
Carmen said she would try.
Okay. Well, Shelley, Teresa, if you're listening, thank you. And to all the listeners that we don't know out there in the world who are listening to the 100 Ways to Love a podcast, if this is the first time you've heard it, welcome. If this is the fourth time you heard it, which this is the very fourth recorded 100 Ways to Love a Cat podcast right now.
I
This
don't
is history.
know. Who was the fourth president?
This is the reason I do not want to go on Jeopardy. I can't. It's not.
He can't even. I had Jeopardy on one time when Travis was living with me, and I had Jeopardy on in the room, and he walked in, and the anxiety levels.
It makes me feel dumb. I feel like a moron, and no one wants to feel that way. No one likes to feel like an idiot.
I saw him come in. This is a true story. I hope it's okay to tell a personal.
Oh, yeah. Who am I to stop you? Just
Jeopardy's on the television. Travis is living in my house temporarily.
Yeah, at that time, yeah.
He walks in the room and Jeopardy's on. He sees Jeopardy. I look back at the TV. I say, did the anxiety levels in here just go through the roof? I look back.
Yeah.
Travis is gone.
I can't even. I went to the back. Remember, there was a small. It's not a closet.
There was
space,
that
but
weird
there was
hallway.
Weird hallway that went to that. It was like, is this a room or is it? What is?
That's
it?
where Travis was staying.
I would go straight. When Jeopardy was on, that was like the one place I could go where I couldn't hear it. I mean, you could have turned it down. But.
Now, looking back on this, I wish I had maybe played my cards differently, but the two things just coincided that Travis was there all the time.
At that time.
And that was probably the most I was ever into Jeopardy. And I heard, this is why you have to listen to your friends. I heard the words. I saw his mouth move. I knew that the words were coming from him.
Well, I didn't make it clear.
But I was like, well, he doesn't like Jeopardy, and every time he comes in and Jeopardy's on, and I have it on like all the time, I tape it, and then he runs back into the closet space or whatever it is, and then I feel the anxiety palpable as he comes in, and yet I didn't connect it all.
Oh, come on.
Maybe I didn't need to watch Jeopardy
It
all
wasn't
the
just
time.
you. I had the nickname back in the day, Opposite Rain Man. Because you remember in the movie, the character Rain Man, he would get very, very excited and want to be in the room that the show Jeopardy was on. Whereas me, I'm exact opposite, hence the, nick. There's old Opposite Rain Man there.
I remember in high school when they took your picture and they put the quote underneath it.
Yeah.
They asked you for a quote, and I don't know what you said. They just threw that away.
Well, yeah.
And underneath your picture, instead of the quote, they just said Opposite Rain Man.
Opposite Rain Man, yeah. I hate
and
Jeopardy,
they didn't even put it in quotes. They just said Opposite Rain Man.
Yeah, I remember.
Do you know what your quote was?
It's so long ago. I don't, I can't recall.
Probably, I hate Jeopardy.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if it said that.
But I do regret not listening more to you when I heard what you were trying to say.
Well,
I heard the words, and I didn't make the connection that you meant
when people
them.
spend as much of their lives together as we have, you and I, one guy's going this way, one guy's going that way, and there's only a moment in that where people just kind of get on board or in the same place at the same time, and I feel like that, for you and I, is at this point in our life, which is the most important, because it's now. Let's not look back and think about all that stuff. I'm still not a fan of Jeopardy. I may not throw as much of a fit or, act out in a way. I absolutely have mellowed. I'm just like, can you please, I've asked you to turn it off before.
Mm-hmm. I wish I had.
Well, back then, sure, but like I said, here we are is where we're at now. That's what's important.
Next time you ask me to turn it off, I promise you I will.
Well,
I don't mean I'll turn it down.
I appreciate that.
Or I'll tell you to leave. I mean, I'll turn it off.
Well, I don't want to deprive you of your show, so we can just, it's all a scheduling issue. At the time, we're looking back at, there wasn't a whole lot of places for me to be, if you know what I'm saying. That's the reason I was at staying with you at the time. But
you were going that way.
And that's what I was saying earlier. You were going that way, and there between the two shall meet.
Here we are, buzzing like two bees synced up. Have you ever heard that when a hive gets going, they're making that honey, and they're flying around, and they're really in sync, that their buzzes sync up?
It's
that two bees, their buzzes are like harmonically intertwined, that your ears couldn't tell them apart.
To me, it just seems like it would sound like a buzz, but louder. It would just be because there's two of them doing it. It's just like turning up the volume on the same one. But I guess it being louder is...
That's what we're doing right now. We're buzzing synchronized. We've turned that buzz up. And this is when we just grab onto each other and hold on. Because you don't get to buzz together like this.
No, you don't get the opportunity.
You don't make that honey go like this.
Honey?
The bees making that honey, and that when they're really going to town on that, and there's just so much honey, and it's so good, and they've just got it full steam ahead, all the pistons firing at once.
I understand that bees make honey. That part I get.
But that's when they're really going to town on that.
It's very loud.
They get
buzzing.
synced up, and they're all working in concert. I guess is what I'm saying.
At a concert?
That's where we are together. Right now, these are the moments where you and I just doing this. Forget the bees. You and I doing this. We're having a lot of fun, and we're working together very well.
That's all true right there.
That's what I'm saying.
I understand.
We need to appreciate this moment and take a snapshot of it. And just,
well, that's kind of, we're preserving it for the computer podcast world, because that's where podcasts are, and this will always be out there.
Well, I hope this doesn't sound just like two friends buzzing. I hope it sounds like two friends really connecting.
Huh? I'm sorry?
So I think it's time.
Oh, it's time to play the song, 100 Ways to Love a Cat. That's what we do here on the 100 Ways to Love a Cat podcast, and we're so happy you're here with us. Let's let it play.
There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 1, keep a tidy house for them, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 2, be sure to clip their claws, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 3, scoop their box daily, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 4, brush them with a hairbrush, 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 5, don't squeeze their paws hard, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 6, give them some fresh water. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 7, let them have a fish. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 8, buy them a scratching post. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 9, put them in your lap. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 10, be quiet when they're sleeping. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 11, whisper, I love you. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 12, rub their soft belly. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 13, make sure their tail is clean. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 14, give them a yarn ball. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 15, make them a nice bed. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 16, buy him some catnip. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 17, play them some music. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 18, get them a cute collar. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 19, make sure they're vaccinated. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 20, take their picture. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 21. Brush their teeth. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 22. Let them watch TV. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 23. Don't let them be outside by themselves. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 24. Feed them some cat food. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 25. Make sure their eyes are clean. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 26. Put a liner in their box. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 27. Give them a mat to wipe their feet on. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 28. Don't forget them on Christmas. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 29. Make sure they're spayed or neutered. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 30. Hold them like a baby. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 31. Let them have a towel or blanket. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 32. Keep your toilet lid down. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 33. Don't let them chew on power cords. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 34. Set them by the window. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 35. Cat-proof your home. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 36. Change their litter weekly. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 37. Praise them lavishly. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 38. Never feed him chicken bones. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 39. Teach them a funny trick. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 40. Give them a toy mouse. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 41. Clean up their hairballs. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 42. Keep them away from candles. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 43. Give him a separate zone. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 44. Never play with them aggressively. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 45. Increase his cuddle time. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 46. Be sure to watch his weight. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 47. If you leave, turn on the radio. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 48. Scold him firmly but with kindness. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 49. Respond when he meows. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 50. Give them a thing of cat grass. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 51. Scratch under his chin. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 52. Remind him that you love him. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 53. Give them a box to play in. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 54. If they're old, help them get down. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 55. Let them lick you with their rough tongue. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 56. Record precious memories. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 57. Dress them up in ribbons. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 58. Give them a flea treatment. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 59. Make a vet appointment. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 60. Give them a little wet food. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 61. When they scratch you, don't get angry. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 62. Give them some private time. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 63. Treat them with respect. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 64. When he grooms himself, say good job. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 65. Let them chase a laser pointer. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 66. Clean out their ears. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 67. Never smoke around them. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 68. Buy a sturdy cat carrier. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 69. Listen to them purr. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 70. Tempted by temptations. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 71. Give them your full attention. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 72. Don't trap them in the laundry basket. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 73. Let them sleep in bed with you. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 74. Make sure they're not locked in the closet. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 75. Don't let them play in plastic bags. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 76. Give them a massage. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 77. Touch him as you pass by. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 78. If he's on the couch, don't be mad. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 79. If they hate fans, turn the fan off. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 80. When there's a bird outside, say, hey, look. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 81. Intrigue them with a funny sound. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 82. Don't forget sardine time. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 83. Let him play with your old socks. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 84. Stroke in the direction that his fur goes. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 85. Admire his long whiskers. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 86. Keep his box away from his food. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 87. Pretend that he's a piano. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 88. Don't interrupt them while they're eating. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 89. When they're scared, go and comfort them. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 90. Let him have a lick. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 91. If their breath stinks, give them greenies. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 92. Give him a ball with a bell in it. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 93. If it's hot, put ice in their bowl. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 94. Let him drink out of the sink. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 95. Don't vacuum if it scares him. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 96. Draw a picture of him. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 97. If you drop some food, it's theirs now. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 98. Read him a book. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 99. Feed him again. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 100. Just love them every day. 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways.
There you have it, folks. 100 ways to love a cat.
That was just what I needed, and I hope it was what you guys all needed out there as well.
You know I need it. That's why I'm sitting here right now.
I need it every week, and I hope you guys do too, and that you'll come back and find it here at the 100 Ways to Love a Cat podcast.
Thanks so much for joining us, everyone.